Hey y'all. Happy Tuesday. So I wanted to come on live today because I told you guys that I was going to come on a couple times this week. And so I am keeping my commitment to doing that. It's like I said, like live video scares the shit out of me. So forgive me if I fumble or stumble over my words or anything like that. So I wanted to come and talk to y'all today about not dying in your disappointment. So I shared a post today about what for me, making that decision at some point this year where I just was unwilling to allow myself to to continue to die in the disappointments that that come with everyday life. And I have shared pretty extensively over the last 6 to 8 months a lot about my own journey and some of the things that have been happening in my life. And I went through a really big breakup from a long-term relationship with a woman that I was building a life with, and it was truly devastating to have this experience where it's like when the relationship is ending or when things are getting ready to change, and just like trying to figure out how to deal with that disappointment, especially when you've been so focused on like building something with someone, and then suddenly, it's not anymore. And then you have to readjust your entire plan. You have to readjust your life, all of the ways that you all may have been entangled in each other's lives, and just like the difficulty of that, and the heartbreak of that. And so I was definitely disappointed and definitely devastated by this major transition happening. But one of the things that I decided, I refused to let myself get bitter, and I refused to let myself get hopeless, because I think that I got to a point where I just got tired of letting the disappointments knock me on my back. That doesn't mean that you don't feel them. That doesn't mean that they have any less weight. It doesn't mean that you are not grieving, but it just means that you're deciding to process this new transition or this plot twist, like you're deciding to process it in a completely different way than just letting it take you out or knock you down on your back. And so often, we can have like really life-changing transitions come up for us, and if we are not conscious about the way that we're processing or conscious about the way that we're dealing with it moving forward, it can just take us out and it can numb us out. And one of the things that I talk to my clients a lot about in the Reclaiming Your Sexy Intensive is that numbness is the opposite of ecstasy, or the opposite of being in your pleasure, or the opposite of being sensual. So to be sensual means to be able to feel, and if you're able to feel, that means that you're not just feeling all of the good things or all of the things that that make you ecstatic or joyful or whatever, but you're also able to feel the pain. You're also able to feel the heartbreak and the devastation and the grief, and allowing yourself to feel it and letting it exercise its way through the body is the only way that you can really step forward in your healing process. And we also talk a lot about taking healing out of this concept that it's an end game thing, right? So I'll go to this workshop and then I'll have this thing figured out, or I'll go to this workshop and I'll always feel sexy. Because a lot of the times, and I know that you all have experienced this yourselves, you may go and take a little sexy class, or you read a book or whatever, and the goodness of it is there for a minute, but sooner or later you forget the steps, or you forget like something that you were told in the class, or you're not sure how to apply a certain concept. So and when you're in the end game of once I do this thing, then I'll have it all together, you kind of set yourself up to fail, because we have to really start looking at healing as a continuous process. I always say, look at healing like starting at zero every day and making a new choice every day to be committed to your joy, to be committed to your vibrancy, to be committed to your pleasure, to be committed to the desires that you have for your heart. And when you start at zero every day versus like, I already have to be there or already have to have everything figured out. When you're starting from zero, it gives you so much space to play. It gives you so much space to mess up. It gives you so much space to just like be human, because we need to be able to be human and have a spirit of gentleness and a spirit of joy, and a spirit of compassion with ourselves and with other people. But sometimes it's really hard to be able to have that with other people when we're not allowing ourselves to be gentle, with us in our own journey. So if we're looking at healing as something that we're doing every day, it's something that we're choosing to pick up every day. If we're looking at it in that way, it makes it a lot less of a daunting process. I love how much you all support me, and I love how much that you all are really engaging in this work. And I always try to remind people, like, I don't think that I am the voice or the picture or like the pedestal of being confident or anything like that, because, I have definitely struggled. I definitely still struggle. I believe in the self-help industry, there's this air of teachers having to have it all together, like teachers, life coaches or speakers or writers or whatever. It's kind of like you have this image of, oh, well, this is my wonderful life and look at it, it's so good, and like, here are my 3 kids and here's my dog, and we all have we're all vegetarians and we eat well and our lives are just wonderful and this is it. And it feels very stagnant and very static, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of room for growth. And I think that it stifles a lot of teachers being in this place and being on this pedestal of having to have it all together all the time, and it doesn't really allow for your audience to see you as human and to see you make the mistakes. And I always feel like the best teachers that I have had have struggled with the content that they're teaching, and because of their struggle, they're able to teach it in a much more visceral way. They're able to teach it from a place where they can navigate you through the valley, and navigate you through the super high moments of when you reach a milestone in your specific journey. And so, like I said, I don't think that I'm doing this work because I love it and because I love creating the space for women to come back into themselves and to reconnect to their bodies and reconnect to their sensuality without shame. But I'm not doing this because I think I have all the answers or because I think that I've got it all together, because I think that if I did approach it from that perspective, this work wouldn't feel as dynamic or as intense or as beautiful or as transformational as it does when we come together. So when we're faced with like really big life-changing transitions, we have 2 choices. We can either choose to die in it or we can choose to thrive. And a lot of times we're subconsciously making the choice to die because all we've been taught is that just to be able to get by, just to have just enough, just to be able to do your work, take care of your family, and wake up every day and just you do it all over again. But there's so much more to life than just like following this monotonous routine, and it takes so much courage and it takes a willingness to step into the unknown for you to be able to create a life where you're not just surviving but you're also thriving, and you feel that sense of vibrancy and joy and ecstasy on a day-to-day basis in different ways. And for me, that is what it means to reclaim your sexy. Our sexiness is not about our external appearance. That's definitely a part of it, and you can play it up and play it down and, put on the outfit, put on the wig, put on the weave, cut all your hair off, whatever. You can do so many things with your external appearance, and that's fine, right? Because it's like we can zhuzh it up and look sexy in a number of different ways. But really what gets to the depth of feeling sexy and feeling that light and that vibrancy within us is when we are coming from a place of vibrancy and joy and love and healing and forgiveness. When we're feeling, these things within ourselves, like we're actually tapping into our power source. We're tapping into a depth that is necessary in order for us to really be able to thrive in our lives. And again, like, choosing to thrive does not mean that you're ignoring the things, that you're ignoring the pain of what's happened. So like I said, when I went through my breakup, like, even though I made a choice not to die, and I made a choice not to wallow around on the floor and, like, just live in that disappointment. So with a level of intensity that I have definitely done before, and just, like, been really crushed by a relationship ending, even though I made a decision not to do that this go around, that didn't mean that I didn't feel it. I just allowed myself to feel it in a different way. I allowed myself to process the experience in a way that allowed for me to still move on with my life. And it was actually Elizabeth D'Alto from the Wild Soul Woman podcast. There was a podcast that she did where she talked about holding grief and joy at the same time, and we don't have to live in this space of either or. We can hold two emotions at the same time. You can be grieving something and also be really excited about something in your life at the same time. And hearing her say that just gave me so much, like, freedom, in that moment, to just be like, okay, like, I can process this in bits and pieces, and also still, like, move on with my life, find some sense of joy, and just do things that will make me feel good, like healing through pleasure versus, like, feeling like I have to drag myself through the rut before I can, like, get back to a place of, like, feeling good. So in the Reclaiming Your Sexy class, in the Reclaiming Sexy workshop, we really focus on creating a space where you can unravel and let go of the tension and let go of the anxiety and the worry and just be, and, like, find a space where you can work through the range of emotions that come up for you without feeling like you need to stifle yourself, or without feeling like you can't process that wave of sadness, or you can't process, like, just feeling like super good and going vacillating in between these different emotions. We create a space for that, and we create a space for it through your movement, and you learn practical tools to be able to really tap into your vibrancy and tap into that sense of ecstasy and that sense of pleasure in your day-to-day life, not just when you're in the class. And that's a really big thing for me, is that for every participant to know how to tap into that sense of ecstasy even beyond the experience of the class. Because once we're gone, it's like, what now? What? That's why the class doesn't focus so heavily on technique and choreography. I really try to get you to your own voice and get you back into your own body, so that you can start to feel what feels natural as far as movement. And you learn some choreography, but it's not so focused on, like, let's get this 8 count down and perfect, and then this will be and then you'll, like, really tap into your sexy. I think the sexiest thing I've seen is when a woman just allows herself to listen to her body and move to the music. Like, no one needs to teach you how to dance. You already know how to dance. You already know how to move to music and vibe with it. Now you just have to have the guidance on how to let down your guard and let go of your inhibition, so that you can really go there with yourself and, just allow yourself to have that moment and take up that space. And that's what the Reclaiming Your Sexy class does. I would love to have you all join me for this experience. I just announced my dates for 2018 today. I just also announced my first segment of international dates. I'll be going to Toronto, Paris, London, and Bali towards the end of next year. You can see all of those dates on the website. The website is www.rashidak.com, RASHIDAK.com. It's also the link in my bio on my page. You can find all of the details there. The price for the 2017 workshops will be going up on the 27th of this month. So the price right now is $150. It will be going to $275 at the end of this week. So next Sunday, the price goes up to $275 from $150. So if you are ready to join us for any of the workshops that are happening at towards the end of this year, we We've got, there's a workshop coming up in Chicago on the 10th. Then I'll be in Oakland, and then Philadelphia, DC, New York, Dallas, Fort Lauderdale, Los Angeles, and then we're also going to Brazil for Carnival, for a really epic body confidence experience. I'm so excited for this first go round of bringing a group of women to the place where I really feel like my work started as a sensuality coach. And yes, I'll be back in New York in November. And we're also doing a retreat in Puerto Rico at the end of the year. So it's just so many beautiful experiences coming up. I would love to have you join me again. The price for those workshops for 2017 will be going up on the 27th from $150 to $275. So if you want to lock in your spot for the workshop at the original price, I'll be taking deposits all week of a minimum of $75 for the workshops for 2017. Inbox me, email me at info@RashidaK.com. That link is also on my bio. The price will be going up on the 27th from $150 to $275, and then that'll be the price for the rest of next year as well. And then all ticket sales for 2017 workshops will be ending on September 20th. So I'm shutting it down. So if you want to join us, do not wait. Don't let anything stop you from getting in on this experience. Each class is limited to 12 people so that my guests are not lost in a sea of participants. I really like to keep the experiences super small and close knit so that I have an opportunity to interact with everyone on a personal level and give individual attention. And especially because we're spending a lot of time together, I just want to make sure that everyone feels seen and feels safe in the experience. Again, the price will be going up for all the 2017 workshops on the 27th of this month, August 27th, from $150 to $275. If you want to place a deposit so that you can secure your spot in any of the workshops for the remainder of this year at the original price, do so before the 27th. Just email me or send me a private message and we can set you up. And then for next year, what I'm really excited about, I'll be doing a teacher training for each city. So each city that'll be listed on the tour, I'll be doing a teacher training to, bring people in to start teaching this method and spreading it so that more women can have access to this experience, whether I'm on the road or not. And I'll be doing my first set of international workshops. And also, for people who are not interested in the teacher training or in doing like a retreat, you'll have the opportunity to work with me 2 days back to back. So you can choose to do just one full day, or you can choose to do 2 days of the workshop. Just so it's like I've been getting some feedback from women who have been on the tour or have participated in the tour so far. And one of the things that has been consistent across the board is everybody wishes that the workshop was longer. So right now it's already 5 hours, but with the content and with the space and just like, allowing ourselves to savor and slow down and indulge and not and really to recharge. A lot of people are like, we wish that it was like an 8-hour workshop or a full day or 10, just so that it even more so didn't feel rushed at certain parts. So that's happening for next year, and I'm so excited to be able to spend a good chunk of time each weekend in each city. And I'm really looking forward to connecting with y'all. So if you have questions, do not hesitate to send me a message here on Instagram. I will respond to those. I do not respond to, the other little zhuzh requests, but thank y'all for gassing me up. I appreciate it. But I will respond to your messages and questions about class. And if you would like to request an invoice so that you can make your deposit for this week, because the price will be going up on August 27th, I will respond to that. You can also email me. There are a lot of cities that are not listed, and I hear y'all, and I love y'all for wanting me to come out to your city. I probably won't be putting them on my my permanent calendar. But if you would like to request a private class, you can also send me your information with your city, your date, and your proposed date, and that's it. So then we can talk about like how you would be an organizer for that city to bring people together to take that class. Yes. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to email me. I'm so excited to connect with y'all, and thank you for joining me today. Have a great day. Bye.